Okay, let's start with the LA Rams. At my book, win total at 10.5, over at plus 110, under minus 140, division minus 200, conference plus 350, Super Bowl plus 750, Todd Gurley most rushing TDs plus 650, most regular season sacks plus 240, Aaron Donald defensive player of the year plus 175, and none of those bets interest me at all. I don't want anything to do with any of them. Does both the offense and defense take a step back this year? Goff has another year under his belt. Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, a nice receiving core. This defense was ranked 11th in the NFC last year. They have a lot of playmakers on this defense. You'd expect them to be ranked higher. Aaron Donald is a beast. Dante Fowler at outside linebacker. And then Clay Matthews comes in at 33 years of age. How big of a presence can he be? Will he be? I don't expect him to be too much of one. You have Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters on the corners. I am not high on this Ram squad and can't wait to hear both of your breakdowns. Let's start with you, Donnie, right side, the LA Rams.
Yeah, the Rams, I'll start right off at the top. I think they're the best overall team of the division talent-wise, but you're right. There's a lot to be said about a Super Bowl hangover coming into the season, Jimmy, because you get to the Super Bowl, you live up to the hype, and, we're going to talk about maybe the NFC title game. They shouldn't have been there, but they ended up in the Super Bowl and didn't play very well. Now, heading into the season, look at their 5-year win totals, 6 wins, 7 wins, 4, and then 11 and 13. This team is built to win and built to win now, and actually worked out in their favor last year, Jimmy, when they put sort of that super team together, got into the Super Bowl, weren't able to pull the trigger and win it, but they did get there. Now, Super Bowl hangovers are real in the NFL. You get to the mountain, you didn't get there. Now you still have your target on the back, and you didn't win anything. Take a look at their first 5 games out of the gate, Jimmy, at Carolina, New Orleans at home, at Cleveland, Tampa Bay, and then you're going to go on the road to Seattle. We'll see if they're up and ready to challenge right away. They have a really good offensive line. They have a dynamic wide receiving core. We'll see when Cooper Kupp comes back, because let's keep in mind, he didn't get injured like training camp in August or July. He got injured in November, so getting back to full speed, a guy that's built on speed and quickness out of the slot, that's going to be interesting to see. And also, the biggest, elephant in the room, Todd Gurley. You hear about in the offseason when you just see him talk about stuff, post-game, or I shouldn't say post-game, but post-practice. Hey, I'm getting there with my knee. He didn't have any procedures, didn't have any surgery, and we're worried about arthritis still at this point late in the season. If you would have guaranteed me last year that Todd Gurley was healthy, I love the Rams in the Super Bowl, but he wasn't healthy, and we'll see if he is this year. That's going to play a big part of it. They do have some moving pieces, but they did get a little bit older on defense, which isn't necessarily better because you add the big names, as you said, Clay Matthews on that team. You got Weddle coming over. I don't know if that's going to improve overall from last year in the dynamic that they had, but it's going to be tough to repeat, and we're talking about value-wise. Minus 182 to win the NFC West, plus 400 to win the NFC, 10-1 to win the Super Bowl, and a 10.5 team total. Going to be tough. I have them right around double-digit wins, but as of right now, Jimmy, I don't know if I can say 11-plus wins here for the Rams this year.
Oh, I like the sounds of that. I want them to be vulnerable. And Whale Capper, you've already gave us the hint that you will be breaking fans' hearts in this video. Take it away, LA Rams. Smash them.
Yes. So the Rams, just like Donnie laid out, there is a general market tendency to fade the Super Bowl loser. The Super Bowl hangover is something you hear every year. And sure enough, you look through the years past, and clearly there's a trend. A lot of that can be attributed to, expectations are high. A lot of that can be attributed to schedules are tough. They put them in a lot of primetime spots. They put them in a lot of really, disadvantaged schedule spots just to make it tough on them. And sure enough, you look at the Rams schedule this year, and all of that adds up. So, you look at 10.5 as their win total. Granted, that is a 2.5 win adjustment from what they achieved last year, and that feels like a lot. And all of this kind of Super Bowl hangover talk, if you're a contrarian, you might say, man, there might be some value on the Rams if everybody feels like they're, they want to bet this under, they want to fade them in the division. I would give a hard pause before letting your contrarian spirit talk you into an over on this team, or that they really have a chance, because they have some fatal flaws on this roster. The fact that they gave Todd Gurley the money they gave him last offseason has very, very much limited their ability to put depth behind their frontline players. They've lost, Donnie brought it up. They had a great offensive line last year, but they've now lost their center and their starting guard, which is huge when you have a young quarterback like Jared Goff who relies on decent, pocket cohesion or the ability to scramble and not be run down from behind by a all-world defensive lineman. Like, he's going to need those guys in the interior part of that line to do their jobs. And there is 2 giant question marks on this starting unit of Week 1. So I see a lot of potential issues for this offense to take a step backward. I think there's a potential that Aaron Donald doesn't repeat the performance we saw out of him last year. That was like all universe, all forever in the NFL. One of probably the top 3 seasons we've ever seen. And in the past, when we've seen those types of singular performances, it's been very difficult for those players to repeat. So of all of the ways to attack and approach this Rams, I still think there's significant value on the under 10.5. I would even go so far as to say under 9.5 if you can find an all total out there, because all it's going to take is one key injury to one of their key players on the defense or offense, and this team is going to dramatically underachieve.